Okay, so we'll get started. So I've got an eye already started here, and I want to go ahead and choose a hard pencil. I think I'll use an H, maybe an HB. I want to tighten up. One of the things I like to do is just try to fill in the tooth wherever I can, wherever it makes sense. So I think I'm going to do that a little bit here. I notice a little bit of the tooth is showing a bit too much here, so I'm going to fill that in. Okay, and I'm going to grab, I think, a 4B. And fill in that pupil a little bit more. Okay, I think that's better. Yep. Okay, I got a reference below up here of eyes for me to reference. And I'm going to go with 3B. And I'm going to do the other eye. And what you'll see is that frequently I'll take my board and I'll turn things around to get a better angle of what I'm doing, which just helps me. This all back. Now you'll notice that I want to ask, why are you doing your eyes first, and why are you focusing so much on the eye? Well, as I mentioned earlier, eyes are the key to a portrait. And the way I've always done a portrait is I focused on, I'm going to sharpen a pencil real quick. But what I've done is I've always focused on one eye, then I go to the other eye, and then I work around the face to the nose, then down to the mouth, and then I work back up to the hair. It's just the way I've done things. You will do what works best for you, and there'll probably be people that would say, well, you really shouldn't do a portrait like that. You really ought to, you know, focus on a wide, you know, do everything around and focus on a light version of things and work in gradually deeper and deeper in your details. I never worked that way. Never. I've always worked eye, other eye, nose, mouth, around the face, into the hair. It's the way I've always done it. Works for me. But you do what works for you. You approach the work that makes the most sense the way you do it. There's no right way or wrong way. It's what works for you. Here's my eraser here. This is where the kneaded eraser really comes in wonderfully. You can go into these little tight spaces, form your eraser however you want, and just do what you have to do. And one of the great benefits of the kneaded eraser too is I'll show you in a little bit when I get to a place where I have to pull out a highlight in her eye. There's going to be a highlight right there, but I've got pencil there, so I'm going to have to lift the graphite out. The kneaded eraser is fantastic for that. Now these examples that I'm going to do, that I'm recording, what I'll do is I'll record excerpts, because I mean, if I recorded every moment of the portrait, you'd probably go to sleep, because it takes time, and that's the way it should be. It's not about rushing anything. It's about enjoying what you're doing, and it's about really looking to create the very best rendition that you can, doing the best that you can. So there's no time. There's no time frame set to do something like this. It's what works for you and how you go about doing things, and your mindset as you're doing the work. Ideally, you're doing a portrait of someone you know, and what you know about that person and what you feel for that person, that comes through as you're drawing. But if you're doing a portrait for someone that you don't know, well, maybe you can think about, well, this is the child of this person. Imagine how that person feels about their child. You think about how that relates to you, how you feel about your children, and you connect in that way. You connect in that way, and you use that to really impart something different, something beyond the technique. There's something beyond the technique in what you're feeling as you're doing things and as you're thinking about these things. And that comes through. I believe that comes through. I think it does for me. But you just take your time. The other thing I would say too is that there's not a mistake. You can't make a mistake. Or let's put it this way. Any mistake that you make can always be undone. It can always be fixed. I remember when I was drawing, when I was young, I would make a mistake and I get so frustrated, I'd tear the thing up and throw it in the garbage. But I've learned that you can take something that, maybe is an error in how you've rendered something, and you can fix it. You can fix it. I think part of that is being calm, confident in what you do, confident in what you're doing, calm in what you're doing. You'll see that I'm going in different directions with the pencil. I don't know if there's any sort of a specific term for that. I call it weaving. I'm weaving the direction of my pencil, the strokes. Back and forth, different directions. And what it does is it builds a smooth gradation, a smooth filling in of a value in an area, fills in the tooth of the paper, nice and evenly. It works really nice. That's how I've approached this. So I've been using a B because I really want to get the tooth in. Now I'm going to go to a 4B, and I'm going to get a little bit darker in the pupil. And her eyes are quite dark right now. So there's a lot of, they're not very light eyes, so there's a lot of deep value here. And of course, around the iris, there is a darker rim, which I'm working on right now. Okay. See, I go back to the B because that gives me a bit more control over my lines, the way I like to control, and I'll build on that. I generally, especially in areas like this, I won't start with a really heavy, like a 4B or a 5B or a 6B. I'll build into that. I'll start with something like a B or a 2B, and then that gives me the control that I want and the harder lead to be able to create finer lines. And then I'll go ahead and I'll build on that. So right now, working with this little angel's eyelid, I want to make sure I'm really careful with this and build on it. And of course, in an area like this, I'm not going to be like, it's very, very controlled. But you learn as you go what you can do. And it's the coordination of your hand with your eye, how you control the pencil and what you're looking to do. To me, that takes time. That takes time to learn how to do that. And that's totally fine. That's okay. I think the big thing is just be patient. I remember when I was starting out with portraits, I would create such terrible things, but really bad work, and I would get so frustrated. But over time, I would see the improvement. I would see the change. I had to be patient, and it was really hard because I was also at that time I was really I was young, and I wanted to be, I wanted to just be creating incredible portraits out of the gate, and of course that's just totally ridiculous. It took time, patience. So I encourage you, take your time. Now, I'm going to work on lifting a highlight from this area of the iris. I've got one there already, but I need another one. So I've got my lovely kneaded eraser, and I'm going to go ahead and start lifting. And what I'll do, create another point, nice and clean. We'll lift in the same spot. Do it again. That gives me what I want. Then I'll create a sharper edge. Boom. And I got one more I got to create. Not totally bright, just a soft highlight over here. I like that. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. And I'll give it a bit of a cleaner edge. There we go. I'll take the B. Let's get a little bit of value around the eye. I'm going to refine the element a little bit too. here. Looks like I got a little thing going on there I got to get rid of. Maybe my pencil dropped on it. There we go. Then we have an eyebrow, very little baby eyebrow up here. Start the shading for that up here. See, even though I'm using a B, I can get a lot of value in what I'm doing. Just adjusting the pressure that I'm using on the pencil. And I get pretty far, especially with a very light face like this. Probably won't even use the black wings. I'll just stick with the Faber-Castells. These will probably be totally fine for this baby face. This corner is going to need a little bit more heavier lead here. B. I turn the cover this way a bit to get a better angle on my pencil. And I think go with a 2B. Yeah. And there's a 2B over here. A little bit darker, but not too dark. Back to the B. Okay. And maybe a little bit longer there. Okay. Yeah, so we're getting there with the eye. Okay, looking back over here, I think this needs to be a little bit darker in here. I'll tell you, I think baby's eyes are really hard. They're very difficult. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here, and I'll probably go back, do a little bit more refining on the eyes, and my next session I think the eyes will be probably 95% ready, and we'll pick it up going down to, I think, the nose and around the eyes, bring them down to the nose. So let's pause for there. Hopefully that was interesting how I'm starting with one eye, working toward another eye, pulling them together. But the next session you'll see them a little bit more deep, probably 95% like I said, and then we'll move from there to the other parts of the face. Okay, so until next time, thanks.